Welcome to Montana Farm Bureau's virtual farm fair. I'm Maggie Nutter, and I'm with the Front Range Counties Farm Bureau, which is located out of Conrad, Montana. I'm up in Sweetgrass, Montana, though, which is north of Conrad, right up on the Canadian border and up in the Sweetgrass Hills. I have a cattle ranch, and in addition to this cattle ranch, we have honeybees. And you can see some of the hives behind me. We got into this by almost accident. I was gifted a few handmade beehives by my stepfather for Christmas a few years ago. And then my grandchildren had a grandfather who also raised honeybees, and he gifted them a couple hives. So we just kind of accidentally got into the honeybee business. And as we got raising them, we decided that we would sell the honey at the farmer's market. And so now my grandsons in the summer go to farmer's markets and sell the honey. It's been great. They have learned how to raise livestock, and honeybees are a livestock, but they're also learning how to run a little business and earn some money. So it's a great thing to have both of that happening with my grandkids. And you'll see some pictures of them as we go on here throughout the day. But also, before we get started, I want to remind you, if you have questions or if you want to share a story that you might be reminded of while watching this, go ahead and put it in the comments below. We really want to hear from you. We want to be able to answer any questions you have. But if you don't have any questions and you don't have a little story, go ahead and comment anywhere. Tell us who you are and where you're from, so that we... Just like with any livestock, when you get bees, there's a lot to learn. What you see in this picture is my son Ken. He's holding the frame of bees. And then you see my grandson Trevin in the back. He's holding the smoker. That's his job, is to smoke the bees before we open up the hives. And then up front here is my grandson Caden. He's looking on, and Caden is our big queen spotter. He can really find queen bees for us. The good thing is there's a lot to learn about honeybees, but you're never too young to start learning. And as you can see, my grandsons are both wearing beekeeper equipment. They have special suits on. My son Ken and I, we don't wear suits so much. I usually cover my head because bees get stuck in my hair. But as you get to handling bees, and in the summer when they're calm, it's not hard just to go out in your shirt sleeves and work your bees. In this photo, you see my son Ken. He's kind of cracked open the top of the hive, and my grandson Trevin is puffing a little smoke in there, and that really calms down the bees. Spring is an exciting time of year. That's when your hives build baby bees. They build baby bees throughout the summer, but in the spring they're especially busy. The queen is really starting to lay eggs, and so we go in and we look to make sure that the queen made it through the winter, that she's laying eggs good, and that baby bees are being built up. These are the worker bees that will start to collect pollen and nectar throughout the summer. And so it's very important that you have a good buildup in the spring. If we have new queens, whether we put them in the hive or whether they hatch, we like to mark them. Here you can see that long-bodied bee. That's the queen, and we're putting a red dot on her. That way we can find her easier later on. Here's another queen. She's marked with green. Can you tell the difference between her and the other bees? Can you see how long her body is? Let's open this hive and see if we can find a queen. Look at all those bees. So here's the queen crawling around. She's looking fat and good, and she's very red also. It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Look how the bees gather around her. They kind of surround her as they go. They move out of her way. She's looking in the holes. I wonder if she's going to lay an egg for us.
Oh,
and
she
there
goes.
she goes.
She lays an egg.
That's really interesting to watch.
It is interesting to watch.
Takes a little bit to lay an egg, doesn't it?
I've never laid an egg.
There. She's pulling her butt out. So there's 15 seconds laying it.
In this little clip, we can see a baby bee trying to get out of its cell. There's nurse bees crawling around. They're the bees that feed the baby bees.
There'd be honey flying everywhere.
Yes.
It actually would fly everywhere and get all over all of us.
It would be like a honey spider web.
It would. After we harvest the honey with the honey extractor, we fill jars. And that's Caden and Trevin's job. They fill all the jars. And we have to weigh each jar to make sure that it's in the right amount. These little jars are 10-ounce jars. Here's Trevin and Caden at the farmer's market. You can see they've set their table up fairly nice. They not only have raw honey, but they have made some products out of the beeswax so that they have something extra to sell. The state has laws about selling honey. It has to be labeled according to the state laws. So it has to say raw honey, and it has to have your name and address on it and the weight of the jar. We're so glad you joined us today at Certain Creek Ranch for the Montana Farm Bureau's virtual farm fair. Remember, if you have any questions or want to share a story about something you've learned today, type it in the comments section below. We also have some fun hands-on activities that go along with today's farm fair station online at www.mfbf.org. Click on the programs menu, then look for Montana Youth Ag Literacy or My Ag. I hope that you consider getting bees of your own in the future. It's really fun to have bees, and it's really great to have all the honey.